Hey guys, Mark the Landlocked Surfer here, and today we have a really important review because after trying over 30 different surf skates, I have finally found the deck that is right for me. This is a surfskate specific deck that was designed that meets all of my criteria. So we're going to review it today. It is the Whitetail Whaleshark Surfskate Deck.
Hey guys, so before we get into the review today, I just wanted to talk quickly about my decision to take a sponsorship, because you're probably wondering, as someone who does reviews on YouTube, it might make you question my bias when I do other reviews and that. So there are only a few reasons why I would take a sponsorship. One of them would be opportunities to go skate in cool places, but the other one is if I found a really cool product that I thought I could do something to help promote. And frankly, spoiler alert, the Whaleshark skateboard deck is the best deck that I've tried for surf skating so far. It's just so suited to my style, and if I can be a part of the team to try and help get the word out about how amazing this deck is for surf skating, then it's something that I could do to help support the small business that is producing these. So that was a big role in my decision to take a sponsorship, and I hope you guys understand that. I want to assure you that my taking a role as a team rider was a result of this board. I tried the board first. I had some discussions with Sophie when she was putting together the plans for how the design would look. And once I tried it, I knew this is the board that I wanted to ride. So I wouldn't have taken a role on a team that's going to give me an inferior product that I don't like riding. So I'm going to do the review, and I want you to know that I'm speaking my honest opinion about this board.
So let's start off talking about the specs of this deck. It is 34 inches long, it has a 16.75 inch wheelbase, and it's 9.75 inches in width. Those specs are similar to some other boards, but what makes it unique is that it has very deep concave, and it's got a really well designed nose and tail. A lot of surfskate brands make their decks largely for aesthetics over function. So you'll see a lot of fishtails with the swallowtail at the back, not a lot of concave, not a lot of rocker, and very few boards that have any nose whatsoever. You'll sometimes see the trucks right at the very front of the board. And this is, it makes boards that sell, but not necessarily boards that function well. Surf skating is 95% skateboarding with a little bit of surf style mixed in. So Sophie, the owner of Whitetail, has taken the lessons learned from skateboard development and technology and then adapted it to suit the wheelbase that you need for a surf skate. So when Sophie, the owner of Whitetail, first reached out to me and told me about the project she's working on, I was super enthused. And she asked me for my opinion on what were my favorite surfskate decks. And at that point, the two that stood out to me were the Yao Christensen Skull, which I really liked for its old school skateboard shape. It had a decent nose, it had lots of concave. I also really enjoyed the dimensions of the number 77 Toledo from Smooth Star. This is not a deck that I thought I would like, but once I was using it, I found it just worked. So I kind of shared with her what I thought was best about those. And she was taking that into consideration and came back and showed me a prototype. And it was like she took the best of those two boards and made it even better somehow with what she came up with. So I'll talk a little bit about the features that she put into the Whaleshark that made this board just excel. So the first thing is the shape of the board. As you know, I love riding in bowls and in skate parks, and the shape of this board with the deep concave and the pockets that are created by the rocker of the nose and tail just give you that locked in feeling. Once your feet are on the board, they stay set. Whether you're on vert, whether you're doing a kick turn or a snap, at the very top of the bowl, your feet stay set. And that deep concave is so important when you're doing vert slides on big walls or in big bowls where you get into vert, and it's just the sides of the soles of your shoes that are hanging onto your board. Having that lifted rail means that you've got something to latch onto so that your board doesn't get away from you, which can be the make or break between landing a trick or not. You can see in this slow motion here how I am completely on my side, my feet are sideways, I'm on the vert section, and the concave of the board is what's holding the board to my feet so that the board doesn't slide out. Some board manufacturers who I've tried to convince to make more concave on their board decks have said that the rationale for this is that it doesn't replicate surfing. So when you're surfing, you're on a board that might be convex rather than concave. But the difference there is that you can't dig your rail into the water on a surf skate. So you need that feeling of being able to get your board on rail to come from the concave of the deck. You can't get it by sinking it into the water. So it doesn't translate. We should be using skateboard technology to replicate the feeling rather than feeling we have to be boxed into what a surfboard is. The next thing to highlight after the shape of the deck is the wheelbase. At 16.75 inches, it's not too far off from a lot of high-performance surfskate decks that are out there, specifically from Yao that have a lot of 17-inch models. So it is ideal for many different surfskate trucks. I've used this deck with Yao Meraki system, with the Carver C7s, C5s, CX trucks, with slide trucks, with waterborne. It's very versatile and works with most different surfskate systems. It's a little bit on the snappier side. If you're used to a longer wheelbase, then you might find this board short at the beginning, but it's important to remember that for high performance, that smaller wheelbase is going to replicate the short boards in surfing. If you're out for a casual cruise, then a longer wheelbase model might be a better choice. But if you're looking to really push yourself to be your best, then this is just in the right wheelhouse. Based on my experience, this wheelbase will work with almost all surfskate systems, except maybe Smooth Star and Swelltech. The last thing about this board that makes it special is having a full nose. So the nose opens up a world of possibilities outside of its effectiveness for carving and keeping your foot locked in. It opens up the ability to do more traditional skateboarding tricks like nose slides, like nose grinds, like things that involve nollying into tricks. And even though this might not be something that you're interested in doing right now, it might be eventually as you start to progress. It also really helps with ollies. So when you're trying to get your board off the ground, having the nose to push the side of your foot against is really going to make it easier to level out your board in the air. I firmly believe that surf skating survival depends on the progression of the sport. So the people who grew up learning how to do snaps and slides are going to want to learn something more. And instead of moving over to just traditional skateboarding, we have to show that those kind of tricks are possible on a surf skate. And this board allows for that progression.
I want to highlight the durability of this board. I have ridden this thing hard for 2 months now. Probably harder than any other board I've ridden. It's the board I took to Hawaii for some of the crazy shots that I got there. And it is holding up so well. Like, even there's barely any razor tail on it, which is incredible for how I've ridden it. You can see even the graphics are holding up all right with lots of board slides. So I'm incredibly impressed with the quality of the build here. It's all Canadian made, Canadian maple, so it's not too surprising, I guess, but I'm impressed.
So at the end of the day, who is the Whitetail Whaleshark suited to? And it's surprisingly a lot of riders. I thought this board would really favor someone like me who's a more advanced rider who's doing more kind of skate park and extreme riding. But a lot of the people who've tried it at the skate park where I've sampled it and let other surf skaters try on our surfskate get-togethers are more in the beginner range, and they loved it too. They really pointed out the way their feet felt locked in thanks to the concave and the nose and tail rocker. So this is a board that could suit almost anybody, and depending on how you set it up, you know, you can set it up with your favorite surfskate truck system and get the most out of it. So the last thing I want to highlight is it's a really good idea to support small businesses in the scene. Sophie is one of the OG surf skaters who's been doing it for 10 years, and she's bringing her great ideas to the business, going against some of the big companies. So supporting small businesses like this is what surf skating is all about. So your money goes a little bit extra and you're getting something unique that not everybody's going to have at the skate park. So really good idea to support small businesses that are trying to grow surf skating and make it better. So last thing I'll point out is that the Whitetail is available from Sophie's website. I'm going to put up the link on the screen, and she ships worldwide, and definitely worth checking out this board. Thanks for watching, guys.